Well, we're going to get started. So today's episode is all about Minnesota housing. So we've invited Elle here.
Yes.
So Elle, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little about what you do, who you're with.
Absolutely. My name is Karnwie-Tuah. I'm a business development rep and event manager at Minnesota Housing. I also sit on the board of directors for ARIA, which is the Asian Real Estate Association of America.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. So at Minnesota Housing, what I know of them is big into helping homeowners get into homes, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So special programs, what should I know?
So we offer our deferred payment loan and monthly payment loan. We also have a program called the Fix-Up Loan, which is a loan that helps homeowners, people that already have their homes, make improvements and repairs. And it's a low fixed loan that helps you make those improvements.
Okay. And you, this may be your expertise or not. Do you pay back any of them?
Yes, they are loans, right?
Okay.
So our down payment and closing cost loans, the deferred and monthly, are both loans that need to be paid back. Once again, it's just going to be a difference between how they're paid back, right, with the deferred and the monthly payment loan. And then our fix-up loan is a monthly loan that you would set up the terms, right? So up to 20 years and up to $75,000. And you just pick your terms on, do you need $10,000 and you're only going to pay it off for 15 years,
For the fix-up, is there any sort of criteria on what you can or can't use it on?
That's a good question. Yes. So I know a lot of the real estate agents that I've talked to are just they're really excited about it because, they can make, whether you're the buyer's agent or the listing agent, they can make improvements to the home. So you can do, let's see here, I have a little trusty list of things here. So we have porches, decks, bathrooms, kitchen remodels, basements, windows, roofs, right, which are big ticket items that loan. A lot of folks want to know about septic systems, and you can also do tree removal and stuff. Patios, we draw the line at an in-ground pool, so I mean,
Dang.
For those that want an in-ground pool, we just can't help you out with that, but there's a lot of programs, or a lot of projects, I should say, that we would be able to assist with.
Wow, that is quite the list.
Yeah.
My wheels are turning as a homeowner going, oh, what can I ask for?
Sure.
Okay, so startup, step up. I think those were your monthly loans that you first talked about.
Yep. So those are the programs, right? So our startup loan is for first-time home buyers. Okay. That's targeting more of the low to moderate income borrowers. And one thing I also want to highlight, because I also teach a CE class on this, is that our definition of low to moderate is very different than what a lot of folks see us as. And then our step-up loan is for repeat home buyers in that moderate income limit. So our program, right, so the step-up income limit, right, goes up to $175,400 in the 11-county metro, right? So when we talk about generous income limits, you can make quite a bit and still be eligible to use our program.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And first time, do you still stick with the 3-year haven't owned a home in the last 3 years kind of criteria?
Correct. Okay. And that's where our lending partners come in. So one thing I want to highlight is that, Minnesota Housing's down payment and closing cost loans would not be really possible or administered without our lending partners that we have on our website. So they're going to take a look at that and say, okay, well, this person hasn't owned a home within the last 3 years and they meet this other criteria as well. Yes, they can use our startup program.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that kind of clues me in. I don't necessarily, if I'm a first-time home buyer, I don't necessarily have to know about it or take extra measures in coming to you separate from my loan officer. It's all kind of
correct. So whenever I am out in the community, so part of my job as an event manager is to do tabling opportunities. We were just at San Cron at the state capitol, right? And so when folks talk to me, whether it's a real estate agent or a realtor, I tell them, hey, we have a group of lending professionals that are participating lenders that you go on our website, you either type in a zip code or area, and they appear, and those are going to be the folks that you talk to get really the nitty gritty, get in the weeds of, okay, how does this apply to me? How does this work for me?
Awesome. Oh, excellent. That makes it really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I like that. Okay. So what kind of advice do you have for a realtor to partner with you guys in sort of helping to communicate to those clients and customers?
Awesome. So we have a couple different resources. So our website has a bunch of marketing material, right? We have free marketing material that we can mail out to you as well, as a real estate agent. We also have our CE classes, which I strongly recommend because we talk so much about dispelling myths, right? So all the myths about what Minnesota housing is, what we do, who we help. Those CE classes, they're free. Keep in mind, and it's a 1 hour class, and it really just breaks down what we do, who we are, and how we can partner together, right, to make homeownership a reality for Minnesotans.
Okay. Do you host those at your office, or you take them out? Where do you take those classes?
Great question. So we work with the real estate broker's office, right?
Okay.
So we could go anywhere from Bemidji to Mankato to wherever, and so we host them pretty much anywhere that, it works for the real estate agents.
Okay. Yeah. Do they go to a website to find that information?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So mnhousing.gov has all our information on there in our classes that we have.
Okay.
And then it also has contact information. My colleague Heidi Erickson is in charge of putting together the CE classes. So one would reach out to Heidi Erickson and then, go from there.
Okay. To schedule those.
Yes.
Excellent. And you're the one that comes out and teaches them all?
Not all of them. So I have a team of, it's 4 of us actually. So we rotate.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So we talked a little bit, I heard you say myths.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about some of those myths, misconceptions. We should clear the air here.
Yes. Let's see. Well, I know one of them is that folks believe that there's like an after inspection with using a Minnesota housing loan. That's not the case.
Okay.
There's additional seller fees if the borrower is, additional seller fees to the seller if, one is using a Minnesota housing down payment and closing cost loan. That's not true.
That's not true.
One of the biggest things too is like the portion about the borrower and how much they make, right? So it's like, oh, this is gonna be a difficult loan. It's gonna be this. It's one of the biggest things I want to tell folks is when a borrower goes through Minnesota housing, right, they're gonna get a pre-approved, right, with the lender. By the time they get that pre-approval to then, take it to the real estate agent and say, hey, I can see a house up to $300,000. The lender has already done the work to know how much of a down payment and closing cost loan they're able to have, right? So it's not like a last minute addition to the loan. They know right up front how much of a down payment they're able to get.
Right.
So that's one thing that I always try to stress to real estate agents. It's not like a guessing game after the fact. Like they know up front, how much they're able to qualify for.
Okay. I think we might have covered this, but just to be sure. Yeah. The money, so it's Minnesota housing. So if I qualify, I can use the money anywhere in Minnesota or within certain counties?
Correct. That's a great question. So you can use it anywhere within Minnesota, right? So we are the state housing finance agency. We're helping everybody from each reach of the state, right? With that being said, there are other regional and city and county funds that may be available. I always tell folks, hey, you may be able to layer it, so you could get a bigger down payment and closing cost assistance, right? But it also depends on that program's criteria as well, right? But we know that our programs can be layered with others.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I hear your programs are many people's favorites.
Yes.
Okay, so some key resources or contact info. I know we said the website. Is that the best place to go?
Yeah, so I like to direct folks to our website because it's going to have our contact information. It's also going to have information to our Partner Solutions team, right? So our Partner Solutions team really is like the first point of contact if you do have questions, because they're going to be able to direct you to either a business development rep if you're a lender or realtor, or to home buyer education if you're a consumer, whatever the case may be. So I'd start there. If you're a real estate agent and you don't know of a Minnesota housing approved lender, go on our website, find a lender, type in a zip code. We have special designations for folks that are what we consider top producers for the area. They can talk to those folks. They're knowledgeable. They've done quite a bit of business with us as well.
Do you have more contact with lenders and realtors or consumers?
That's a good question. In In my role now, it's more lenders. Just
Okay.
talking to lenders
From the business development
Yeah,
side.
from the
Yep.
business development side, just talking to lenders and seeing what is it that they're seeing, what are the trends, what can we do as Minnesota Housing to assist, what resources can we provide, because we want to make sure that our lenders are successful with
Sure.
this program and
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
they have the resources.
Okay. And so you deal with more with that, but is there consumer education? So we've talked realtor education.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So consumer education. So we partner with the Minnesota Homeownership Center to provide homebuyer education classes. Within that umbrella of the homebuyer education or the Minnesota Homeownership Center, they have credit counselors. They have foreclosure prevention, all these classes to really help one who doesn't know where to start, get set and then create a goal to then home ownership or wherever they would like to go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do lenders help those with those classes as well, so they get to meet some people? Or
Yeah, so from my understanding, the Minnesota Homeownership Center does have lenders and real estate agents teach that, but
Yeah.
each so under that umbrella of the Homeownership Center, that you have the Urban League, you have CDAs, other organizations, and they kind of determine who's teaching the classes. But
Sure.
I know that there's real estate agents and lenders that are able to do that. And I know for our program too, it is required for first-time homebuyers to have that homebuyer education because in my opinion, right, I think it's very important that if somebody's going to make an investment of that magnitude, right, buying a home, owning a home, it's cool to own the home, but it's very important to know what do I need to do to maintain the home, maintain its value, and so that if I need to sell it, it's being sold at the value that I'd like it to be at, or if I'm going to keep it, that I'm also knowing how to maintain that as well. So,
Yeah. Oh, great education. Yeah. And because I have some insider knowledge, I know that you and some of your team members are members of some of our affiliated real estate organizations. And you mentioned you sit on the board for ARIA.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? I know that's not Minnesota Housing, but I think it's pretty important.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up. So ARIA, Asian Real Estate Association of America, it's a trade association dedicated to promoting homeownership within the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. Of course, we promote homeownership to all communities, but we're specifically focused on what the challenges are for that community. We also partner with NAREP and NAREP, which is the African American Realtor Association, and the Hispanic Realtor Association, as well as the LGBTQ plus Alliance, right? So all of us together, we join forces, so to speak, to really educate those in the community, provide the resources, and then also just encourage real estate agents and other lending professionals to join, right? It's a big networking opportunity. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I've been on the board for 3 years with ARIA.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to let you kind of myth bust this.
Okay.
If I wanted to join ARIA and I have no Asian descent in my family, can I join?
Absolutely. Yes. I'm African American, and I'm on the board of ARIA. Yeah, we want real estate agents, right, of all backgrounds, of all walks of life, because this is what makes these organizations great, right? And that it also sheds light. Like, let's say you're not a part of that community, but you're doing the work. You're learning more about the challenges, in a perspective and great way of like, okay, now I understand. Now I'm getting a better perspective because I did not know, right? And so there's a lot of things that I've learned joining ARIA that I didn't know prior to, and so I really enjoy.
So I imagine your team joining these organizations kind of really helps you promote your programs for Minnesota Housing to these different communities.
Well, yeah, not only that, but also educating maybe lenders who don't use Minnesota Housing, or myth busting, rumors that maybe a lender may have about Minnesota Housing, right? Yeah.
Awesome. So realtors can join those as well and do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Help learn the cultures, learn the different communities, and help educate as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So are there some other things that we haven't covered you want to make sure you talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. So just recently we achieved our 40% BIPOC goal. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. So Minnesota Housing has had a strategic goal to have 40% of our production go to households of color, right? And so we've been working on that for some years, and just in 2022, we achieved that goal. So that's a pretty big accomplishment, because I think the industry average is maybe 6%, 5%, something low. Very low. And so, with Minnesota Housing doing that work, we want to say, hey, we collectively as an industry can do this. We should do more. We should strive to do more. And, Minnesota Housing has a lot of, that's another reason why we work with the trade associations and do a lot of work within those communities to make sure that we're getting the information out and letting our lenders know about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I think to think about it, I think the average might be 20.
Okay. So yeah, it's still low.
Yeah, it's still low. Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other last minute things we want to make sure we share?
Oh, absolutely. So, so I mentioned before events, right? So, Minnesota Housing primarily works with lenders, right? But we want to make sure that we're getting real estate agents involved as well. We want to provide information and resources to them. Another way to get involved is by reaching out to me. My name is Karnwie-Tuah, and joining our event mailing list, right? So just last weekend, we were at Songkran at the state capitol, and we just set up a booth. You bring your business cards and a notebook, and you connect with the attendees, talk about home ownership, and yeah.
Okay, how many events are you a part of all year?
Well, I plan them.
How many emails am I getting? Yeah, it's you personally.
Yeah.
How many emails am I going to get when I sign up for this?
Ooh, okay. You'll only, in a year, you're probably going to get about, I don't know, anywhere from 25 emails. But how I frame those emails is, hey, Minnesota Housing is having this event on this particular date. You just respond and say, hey, I'd like to participate. Or you just ignore it. You know what I mean? It's, to be fair, right? So you just ignore it. And so I send those out, and I will say that the folks that have participated find a lot of value in it.
Okay.
The real estate agents and lenders, turning, a 4-hour session on a Saturday into, real deals and actually helping people, that they may not have been able to connect with had they not participated.
Okay. Do you take your events all over the state, or are they pretty local?
All over the state. So I try to do my best to make sure that we're getting out to Greater Minnesota, because we are the state housing finance agency. I think it's important that there's representation in Greater Minnesota. I know this year we were in Duluth, we were in Bemidji, Detroit Lakes for sure. And I'm looking to see if we can do some Southern Minnesota events here before the end of the year as well.
Oh, excellent. And these events are towards realtors, towards public?
They're public facing.
Okay.
Right. So for example, Pride is coming up, and we signed up, we have a booth, and we'll be reaching out to our lending network, our real estate network, to staff that. Right.
Okay.
So it's really just, public facing events that are taking place. Selby Jazz Festival, for an example.
Yes, we did that last year.
Yeah. Great music, great food, and you're able to just connect with folks that, and you're essentially doing myth busting on the spot, right? They're like, I thought I needed X amount. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Let's talk to my friend, so-and-so over here. Like, that's not the case. And what's awesome about these events is, like, you can see the wheels spinning in people's heads. They're like, I thought it went from I cannot do this, or I have to wait a decade to like, oh, I think I could actually do that within the next couple of months, right? And that's what the really rewarding part is.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm a realtor and I sign up. Then the thing to know is these emails that are coming, they're not realtor events. They're public events.
Yes.
So why wouldn't you go and be a part of it? I mean, these are the events where there's going to be potential for you to make business.
Absolutely. And you know what? And I do all the setup, I do all the tear down. You just got to show up with the business cards and a piece of paper, and you're good to go.
Easiest event you ever were a part of.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. You got anything else for us?
No, that is
okay.
it. Thank you so much for having me here.
This was excellent. Yes. So, again, Kristen Parker, Education and Events Director here at SPAAR. Thank you, Al, for coming from Minnesota Housing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome.